actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, it's such an interesting, I mean, like, not to say, like, I want you to be in tough situations, but, like, you're such a perfect person to have been in that scenario, if only just because, you know, your sort of openness to change and the ebb and flow of, like, okay, what's the next thing? What I thought was going to happen is not happening. And so what is happening? Okay, great, I will adjust, you know, and I feel like the improv training, you know, really helps in real life scenarios, and this is a huge example of how, like, you could sell 20 years of classes just on that story alone of, like, and because I'm an improviser, I improvised. And then they're like, Tami Nelson!
What a beautiful segue you just did, Amy. That was very good.
You're very sweet.
You're good at this.
Actually, Wendell and I have both gotten pretty good at the idea of, like, it'll get real dark, and then we're like, and the thing about death is how it reminds me of comedy. So, yeah.
It's the opposite of life, which is what we're doing now, which is why we smile. Smiling is fun.
Good enough.
Yeah. Sometimes it's clunky, but you know, it's like we got to get there somehow. So
Plus, I mean, if the audience listening to the Tami Nelson interview didn't get some quality improv talk, I'd be punched in the face in every city I went into. So I got to make sure to talk about it with you for sure.
Great.
I mean, did you feel though in the moment that, like, I know that it was so wild, but, like, your easiness to adjust to situations, did you feel like that was a strength you had in that moment?
I didn't think about it at all.
It was just happening.
Yeah, it was just happening.
Yeah.
It was just one moment to the next. Thought about it a lot afterwards.
Good.
And thought, gosh, I'm such a badass. You know? Because, like, I didn't freak out. I mean, I don't know. Why would I freak out? Like, I wasn't being triggered by anything. Like, there were people that were freaking out everywhere around me. It was like, oh, because y'all are super triggered by this thing that happened in 85. I think it was 85, right? God, I hope I don't mess that up.
Yeah, but a lot of people, I mean, any of those people you could have seen potentially would not have experienced it in 85. 85 is a bit ago. And occasionally, maybe some of those freaker-outers. Also, a lot of people freak out about a lot of things. So
yeah, I was
you know.
happy that I didn't, like, just collapse into a ball of, like, I can't function, I don't know what to do next. I felt very proud of, like, do the smartest, safest, most, like, cleanest, easiest thing from here on out for the next 28 hours. Just be fucking focused on a goal.
Has it changed, like, your mentality on traveling at all?
Well, no.
I mean, because you really like to travel, obviously.
I do. I love to travel. I love to travel by myself. And I was afraid that would happen. I was afraid that I was going to be like, oh, I think I'm just going to go to, like, Switzerland. You know, go to nice, safe places.
Switzerland is a lot crazier than you think it is, by the way.
Probably, right?
Yeah, no, I went to Switzerland and found out that there are 3 sections of it, and they all hate each other. There's the German, the French, and the Italian sections, and they all hate each other. So despite the fact that they told us when we were kids that it was a neutral zone, it's not neutral to itself. They all get fighting.
They're too busy fucking with each other to mess with us. That's all.
Yeah, they're like, we don't care what you're doing, but the Italians over there. So I went there, and I actually we had to break up some fights between French people that we had made friends with, and then all of a sudden we were in a German section, and these kids were getting into fights, and we were, like, pulling people off each other. So don't go to Switzerland is all I'm saying. Maybe not as the post-PTSD trip.
Yeah. I don't think I want to go back to Mexico City, which is sad, because I wanted to go to Mexico City real bad. But I think it's going to be a little while before, if ever, that feels okay.
So you probably had, like, a week or two planned there that you were going to stay?
I was going to stay for, like, it was short. It was Tuesday to Saturday.
Oh, okay.
It was just real quickie.
Wow. You know, there's other parts of Mexico, so.
Yeah, it's a big place. It's a big place. I mean, it'll be annexed into Texas pretty soon anyway.
Right.
So, it's fine. Wow. I want to talk about improv.
When you travel, do you like sort of research or look into, like, comedy scenes there, or is it just kind of like it's a you thing, right?
Yeah, no way.
Okay.
It's totally. I drink white wine with lunch. I go to museums. Go to bed real early. I eat a lot. I don't think about comedy or improv at all.
Okay, so
it's
that's
like
what
total
it is.
brain break. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is.
Brain break. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when I was in Portugal, I saw a play that was a comedy, but I couldn't understand what they were saying because they were speaking Portuguese.
And then people laughed, and you went,
I was like, oh, this is funny. But that's I don't seek it out. Which I feel like that's a different trip, right? Like if you're going to go see comedy shows and everything, you might as well be
work
like,
trip.
Yeah. Take some workshops and go see some shows, and then you have a different like brain space for it.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Yeah, whenever I do comedy, like even this trip, we're considering a business trip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my husband was like, write everything down. We're writing them off. It's
Absolutely.
business expenses.
For sure.
But yeah, I think it's, you know what, a lot of times something that's real hard, especially for me, and I'm glad that you travel, it makes me like want to go take trips. But it's like, I feel like you need to fill the coffers of like experience in your life. You need to like see what happens in the world and go do things, you know, drink YBY with lunch and all that. And see how cities are in good times and bad, really.
Yeah.
It seems like your experience, while not really the most ideal of vacations, was still an experience.
Oh, incredible.
That you could creatively draw upon for...
The most incredible thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And it was less than 2 days long. Just over a day long.
Yeah.
It felt like 30 years. Yeah.
Shit.
No, yeah. The reason I was asking is like, that's like a novel thought that I never really have. It seems like the only reason I ever travel is for comedy or work or the token go back home for Christmas thing. So yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's just there's not a lot of wanderlust built into anybody in South Carolina. There's very much this like no, it's good right here. I don't know what's happening over there. Fuck that. So like the idea that I even came out to Austin is still befuddling a lot of my family members. So, like, and that was the whole thing, too, is, like, I just wanted to be somewhere that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And, the second I got to Austin, I was like, this might be the best, like, I don't make great decisions, so, like, the bar was low, but this was easily the best decision I ever made coming to Austin. And now it's, like, the only time I ever think about leaving it is when I come here, or I go do, like, shows in Dallas, or, I go to San Antonio to see my girlfriend, you know, like that kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I want to travel for fun, but then, you know, the cautionary tale that we've been talking about.
It's nice to have a home
here.
that you feel like you're satisfied being in a home.
Yeah.
That's a nice feeling.
We're simple.
Have you always been traveling? Like, have you always, like, your whole life when you were growing up, did you guys take a lot of trips? Since you graduated high school, did you do a lot of traveling after that?
Really, my first European backpack month and whatever, how long that was, when I came home from, I was like 20, however old I was. When I came home from that, I felt so fucking holier than thou. I was like, well, but I was in Paris a month ago, and I just like loved this badge that it gave me. Like I just felt very like, I was processing all these wonderful experiences and like all the things, but I was very immature and stupid, so I just felt like I was cooler than everybody else. But everybody had just done the same thing, so it was like whatever. But it just meant a lot to me, and I guess I just got bit by the bug. So I've tried to travel as much as possible, but since my 40th birthday, I was like, I'm taking an international trip every year. Even if it's just like this Mexico trip was just a couple days. Like if I can just get out of the country for a little while and just like put some more coins in the bank of experience. Because every time, even if you go somewhere that's like not super exciting, you still are confronted with another culture that you have to like navigate and figure out how to do these things and get lost and find your way home and like all that stuff. So I like the adventure part.
I feel like even within the country that we live in, there's some great opportunities for finding culture that you didn't know was there.
Definitely, right?
I think about certain cities that I'd love to go to, and even like of the people that we've talked to today about, different places that they're from and what that's like, and it's like, oh, people do that there or whatever. Like you just, I don't know. I mean, it's not to say that like. I think where I live is like, the height of cosmopolitan, stuff, but at the same time, it's like at least a pretty solid, has a vibe, and most of the things I'm looking to have around me. But I'd love to know, you know, when you go to a small town in Colorado that's not a big city, what does that mean? And, you know, what is Montana like? What are there, 10 people there? Like,
right.
So, you know. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just interesting to soak up other people's way of looking at the world. Mm-hmm. Because if nothing else, you know, it sort of shakes your own, like you were saying about when you were a kid and you went on that backpacking trip and you're like, oh my God, I get everything now.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand, because there are moments when I get real haughty about my own life and I'm like, guys, everybody needs to relax. I get life.
Right.
You know? And I'm like, okay, I don't get life. I got like 2 seconds. I'm feeling okay. Everything's pretty much handled. But it's like, okay, stay positive, but things are insane.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I don't know.
It also does a lot to like add value to like home base. Like
I was just
home.
thinking that. Absolutely, right? Like when
Yeah.
you live in a place like Austin, which is like so perfect in so many ways, like you pretty much have everything that you could ever want, needed, so comfortable, and it's a wonderful, easy place to call home.
Yeah.
To like think about going to some place that's kind of like, mediocre sounds negative, but you know what I mean, comparatively. Where it's like, the place that I live is like beautiful and cool, and there's tons of things going on. I have access to everything. Plus, it's in Texas, which is a very wealthy state, so the infrastructure fucking works. And like, you know, like all of the wonderful things about Austin. It's, I mean, I can imagine, you know, going to another place and being like, I'd just rather be home. I mean, that's how I feel about being here. I mean, this place, New Orleans, is broken, but I love it. But just I have to psych myself out sometimes to like make myself leave.